How much was social media used to fuel the recent xenophobic violence? How can faith-based organizations help in the fight against xenophobia? Which role did the SABC play in spreading the message of peace? And how can young Africans contribute towards fighting xenophobia? What time is it? It's question time. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Tsedu. The recent xenophobic violence has seen various sectors of society, including faith-based organizations, also adding their voices and condemning these attacks. In an effort to ensure that these incidents never happen again, President Jacob Zuma has established an interministerial task team, not only to restore peace, but to also review the country's immigration policy. Meanwhile, police officials from Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal have strongly condemned those who have used social media networks to spread inflammatory rumors to cause panic and incite violence. But how can social media be used in order to promote peace? A reminder that this is a live question time. Therefore, you can call us on the following numbers: 011 714 6841 or 42 or 43 and air your views there. My guests in studio are Leron Segaf, a technology expert, and Mr. Sebong Africa is from SABC Digital News, and we expect to be joined also later by another guest from our Pretoria studios. But for now, gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Sebong, do you think you've done enough to ensure that people talk peace as SABC Digital?
Well, yes, we've lent our resources in terms of our digital platforms, so our social media accounts, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Most of them, we run verified, valid stories. We don't try to inflame the conversation by spreading any malicious type of content. So if someone's maybe tweeting saying that, a picture or some sort of media is representing an attack or whatever the case may be, it'll be irresponsible of us to actually, retweet that or repost that. So we are exercising really responsible editorial practices in our daily activities as as a news organization. Okay, and how do you think you have fared compared to others? Well, we can't necessarily, compare ourselves to the news media in its in entirety, because we all run according to a given code of ethics, which is first do no harm. And so, as far as I can tell, all news media in South Africa are trying their best not to spread any malicious rumors. We found that there are situations where even other news media have refuted certain videos that have been posted on their own platforms.
Was it trending?
Of course it trends. Anything that's really topical, anything that shows imagery or, just acts of really gross violence tends to really attack at people's emotions and gets them to, post and share with their friends. So of course it would trend, but it's what you do with that kind of trending topic that really matters.
So how did you deal with that? People were expressing their feelings quite harshly sometimes.
Definitely, we have to pay attention to their feelings, and in so doing, we have to approach the subject matter very sensitively. So we will only report on what we know is true and factual.
Okay, Leron, do you think social media played a role either in inciting or in perhaps bringing calm?
You see, social media as a whole can play either the villain, the victim. It's all about mob mentality. So when you have an account, you're very anonymous, you'll be safely behind your computer or behind your mobile phone. You could kind of garner any emotion that you want to portray. And what typically happens is you make a statement, your friends back you up, their friends back their friends up, and it builds and builds and builds. And we've seen social media being used in negative ways all over the world. If you remember the recent London riots that they had, was all around social media and understanding where the mob was gathering and understanding what the next phase was going to be. The police, again, they have the same technology and are using the same social media platform to do exactly that, to understand what's going on, what is the feeling on the ground, and then understanding where to deploy and what to do. But social media is a tool like any other. Can be used for good, can be used for evil.
Yeah, and in this case, I mean, you're an expert in this. What are the people saying?
Everything. Everything and anything, and that's the problem. So, you get people who are the armchairs activists, those who believe in the cause and are going to fight for freedom. Whose freedom? What cause? We're not really sure. Because a lot of the times what we've seen is they've used images that have nothing to do with today's or what's going on at the moment. They might have used historical images, but they're very emotive and they bring out all the wrong energies, and they've used these images to say, hey, look what happened to my friend, and they've personalized it.
Yeah.
And as soon as they do that, their friends jump in and they say, well, how could this actually happen in this country? And then it spreads and spreads and spreads. And this is the problem. The problem is that there's no recourse. So if you take out of this mob mentality, which is happening at the moment on social media, if you pull the one person out and you phone them directly and you say, what happened there? They cave. They can't back that up. They're all of a sudden a very different person. But anonymously, behind a PC or behind a mobile phone with a Twitter account, everybody's an activist and everybody wants to be a reporter. And now we've got applications that allow you to stream live video from your phone. We're in for trouble.
How are you dealing with the fact that in modern times, each and every citizen is actually a reporter for as long as you've got, the gadget on your hand, and you then have people like you who have to conform to, the old school rules?
I think the old school rules kind of help us in that regard, because they guide us in terms of being the source that people look to for, the real actual facts. Yes, everyone can be a publisher, but, is what they're publishing the truth? Is it, just their opinion? People look to news media to be the ones who actually are sharing content that is, true, that content that, can be verified. That's where we come in as, news organizations.
Hold the thought there. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, we'll be taking your calls. Let's find out if you have played any part either in bringing peace or inciting violence by calling us on the number 011 714 6841, 6842 or 6843. This is question time. Please don't go away. Okay. Yeah, wait. Check. Oh, yeah. That question time. My guest today, we've got, of course, Reverend Tami Mvambo, who is joining us from our Pretoria studios. He's the Secretary General from the National Interfaith Council of South Africa. But for now, let us hear what students from Rhodes University had to say about xenophobia.
The fact that you don't have a job is as a result of a black person, and not seeing the broader institutional racism that's actually allowed you to hate your fellow brothers and sisters. Where would we be in South Africa today?
The existence of the borders has first of all created that separation amongst black people, and secondly, the black on black hate, I think, is also very misdirected anger. We understand that people, are propagating this xenophobic attack because they don't have jobs, because they don't have housing, and they think that our brothers and sisters from Nigeria and Zimbabwe are taking away their housing.
We continue the discussion with our guest. Leron Segev is a technology expert, and Mr. Siabonga Africa is SABC Digital News executive here at the SABC. Now, Reverend Tami Mvambo, you're the Secretary General of the National Interfaith Council of South Africa. Now, what are you going to do to ensure that peace returns to the communities that were affected by xenophobia?
We already have started a campaign to ensure that we stabilize the situation in our communities. We are organizing prayer services, dialogues. There are marches that are taking place starting from today throughout to try and bring together communities. We believe that only through dialogues can people begin to understand why our brothers are here and our sisters, and that they are not here basically to take away anything from anybody. They are here, some of them legally. Of course, there are those who are here not legally. But I think we should not move from a premise of thinking of them as people who are here to take away anything from anyone, but people who are here to come and contribute towards the development of South Africa and Africa, because there is a tendency of people who think that South Africa is not part of this continent. Okay. And it is unfortunate because it is a lack of understanding and a lack of knowledge of our own history.
Okay, hold the thought there. Eunice, you're calling us from Pretoria.
Hi, Mpho. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks, my sister.
I'm well, thanks, Mpho. To cut matters short, the root cause of the problem, this one, the xenophobia thing,
yes.
The way we're tackling it, we just tackle the top ups. The root is we have got people who grew up in South Africa before 1994 or before Mandela was born. Now, the top bosses, they hire other disadvantaged of our own people of blacks, because they are cheap labor. Now that causes tension. It means a South African must now go and stay in Zimbabwe or must go to Mozambique. So it is a dislocation of the normal setup. So the root of the problem is the rich. So the government is not dealing with this, and I think it's because some of them are also owning big projects where they've hired them. So there's no way there's going to be peace if my child is not working and a foreigner is working. There's not, and adding to that, the Ethiopians never take their jobs. So this thing is spreading on the innocent. The Ethiopians, there's no Ethiopian nurse, no Ethiopian teacher, no Ethiopian mine worker, but they are also affected by the same thing. So it's all what I can say. Thanks, Mpho.
Thank you very much. Mpho, let me give you an opportunity to reply to a comment of that sort.
You know, because people do not seem to have knowledge of our historical origins, they look at us as South Africans in isolation. We are part of the continent and we are part of the problems that are in this continent. And what we are trying to encourage is that people should not and try to resort to methods that are not correct to address problems that exist. Economic problems are problems that are in existence all over.
Okay.
Now, there are two things that we have to try to look at. One, most of our young people in South Africa have grown up with an attitude towards doing manual labor. They don't like it. All of them, most of them, not all of them, most of them believe that when you are educated, the only thing that you have to do is to have an office and to do some special kind of jobs. Now, if you look at some of the jobs that they are referring to, I was part of the presidential summit yesterday. We were trying to do an analysis of what kind of jobs that are these people doing exactly. We actually are acknowledging that they actually are doing most of the odd jobs.
Okay.
That most of the South Africans will not try to accept.
Okay.
However, we also have to acknowledge something, and I want to note what the sister said. There is also an issue of exploitation of cheap labor. It's an acknowledgement, and we are trying to do something about it. Business has acknowledged it in this country.
Okay. Calvin, you are live on Question Time.
Hello?
Yes?
Hello?
Hello, Calvin?
Yes, I'm still there.
Yes.
The things about that argue that woman was saying from Pretoria. Hello?
Yes, go ahead, Calvin.
Yeah, I'm saying that woman from Pretoria was saying like foreigner people, they're the one who are taking jobs from the local people, isn't it? Like, I just want to say to her, that is wrong. You can't feel like your child to go and teach into the school while she's not educated. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
That's totally wrong. Like there are some other people, like foreigners, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Who come here in South Africa, actually legal. They come, they do their own small things. You understand? Those people, you don't expect that they are taking jobs from the local people.
Okay.
That's totally wrong. And the another thing is about those, I can say maybe the councillors. That's what causes xenophobia. And councillors, if they go and address people, they'll be saying foreigners, they are taking jobs from us. Well, that is a lie. They can't tell their people what is right. You understand?
Okay.
That's what causes xenophobia.
All right. Thanks very much, Calvin. The good thing about Question Time is that we're giving you the platform to air your views. And we've got tweets here, and I just want to talk about this. From the Minister of Sports, Fikile Mbalula, says xenophobia, a case of blacks hating on other blacks. Those who oppressed us for over 300 years are watching. They must be laughing at us. Now, you deal with this type of media. Now, when somebody like the Minister of Sports says something like that, how much does it influence, the discussion rather?
No, absolutely. I mean, when somebody is in that position, or somebody that people look up to and is holding such an office, their word carries a lot of weight compared to someone who's just an anonymous person who happens to be on Twitter. So a lot of these statements need to be made very, very carefully, especially when they're using the official accounts. There's a big thing about Twitter that you can, when you talk, are you representing the organization or are you representing yourself? And those two worlds are very, very kind of interlaced together, because you're a person, but you work for a company. So therefore, who do you speak on behalf of? And a little disclaimer in your biography saying that, or your profile that's saying that all views are my own, that really doesn't really cut it. So you got to be very careful when you're making such statements. There will be a reaction, and we've seen people take to task on those before.
Rudzani, you are in Soshanguve?
Yes, sir, how are you?
Doing very well, thanks for asking.
Fine. I would like to say, hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to say, in addition of what the unit said, hello?
Yes, go ahead, Rudzani.
In connection with this job thing, the other thing that our government officials are turning a blind eye on is, I do not, or other people on the ground do not understand why somebody from Zimbabwe or Mozambique will come here in 3 years' time. He will be residing in an RDP house, while my brother and sister who stay in South Africa, registered in the waiting list 19 years ago, could not get that house. This is one of the things that angers us on the ground.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much. Now, you also have somebody like Zwelinzi Mavavi, who's also quite very active on the social media. He says over 100 organizations have endorsed and will participate in the Thursday march. South Africa is taking a stand. # no to xenophobia. Now, South Africa, do you in any way use these hashtags perhaps to determine your leading stories?
It depends on the activity of the hashtag. So if it's a trending hashtag, something that a lot of people are using, then of course we'll follow up on it and see where the story is. Like any news organization, we use social media as a tool to basically gauge, what's going on out there on the ground. So something like no to xenophobia, especially when it starts trending and we get like those thousands upon thousands of retweets and tweets, we have to pay attention to it and we have to report on it.
Okay. Then you've got Malusi Kikaba, who's also quite active. He says African unity and human solidarity, no excuse justifies violence and barbarism, none whatsoever. # xenophobia must fall. Now, Ndademruti, looking at the role that social media plays as far as discussion and debates are concerned in the society, have you seen a role which you would have to play within that space as well, perhaps?
Yes, we know that social media, it's a very important tool now of late, and a way of sending out message faster, and then people are able to express their views and opinions. Now, we as religious people also are part of that process.
Okay.
We are not watching idly and looking at things happening. We are doing something also to express our views and opinions.
All right. Petros, you're calling us from Zimbabwe?
Calling you from Bela Bela.
Oh, from Bela Bela. Okay.
Yes. I'm a Zimbabwean who has been here illegally.
Oh, I see.
And the most embarrassing aspect about the whole entire immigration practice, if I may say, are you listening?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Like, for instance, now, my first stage of the ZSP, what do you call it, permit, which we applied for. Right? To start with, we got it free, right? Can you hear me?
You've got it what?
The permits,
Yes.
the permits we got as Zimbabweans.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, we got those free and it was very fast and efficient. Right? Regardless of whatever loopholes they are trying to close according to the immigrants who are coming illegally and etc. etc. Right now I've made my application on November 10 to date, right?
Yes.
I've never received an SMS. I'm not a police apprehended person. I'm not I've never committed a crime in my country, and to date nothing has been said over me. Okay, I don't know what exercise they are practicing at the immigration.
Now, Petros, do you think this has got anything to do with how you're treated by the people that you live with?
No. It has to do with the perception, the immigration versus the country hosting us.
Okay.
In terms of what has just transpired, right?
Okay.
If you look at the scenario itself, it implies or it reflects that these people, they are trying to eliminate. But some of us, we are here legally. We are willing to expose our fingerprints.
Okay.
We are willing to expose ourselves from Zimbabwean side, part of the police side, and to the South African side. And we have been cleared clean. To date, nothing has been done. And
Okay.
which is an intentional turn down, which they are doing to us, which is a very big
Petros,
down to immigrants who are
Petros.
coming and willing to expose themselves and to have a
Petros.
clean say over the whole entire happening.
Okay, thank you, Petros. Thank you very much. A very quick one, Mr. Segev. How should people use social media responsibly to ensure that there's peace?
Think before you tweet. That's the most important thing. People think that just because they can put it out on the computer, there's no ramification. Their word carries a lot. And because of the way social media works, it's social. It's between you and your friends, and then you and friends of friends, and friends of friends of friends, and it spreads and spreads and spreads.
Okay.
Think before you tweet.
Dadem Root, a quick one from you. Your message.
Our message is, we are opposed to any xenophobic act. We are opposed to any kind of killing, any kind of burning and looting of property.
Okay.
And people justifying that in the name of people are taking away something from us. We are all Africans, and we cannot just stand by and watch when we allow even criminal elements to attempting to take over law and order into their hands.
Thank you very much, Ndatem Ruti. South Africa, thank you very much. We've run out of time, unfortunately, but that was question time for today. A big thank you to our guest and to you for watching the show. We welcome your feedback. Our email address, questiontime@sabc.co.za. Our Twitter handle, @questiontime24. You can also follow me on Twitter, @Mpho Tsedu. From me and the crew, have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye.